Hello everyone and welcome to Shadow. Welcome back to another episode of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode, where this time we are at Spa in Belgium. Probably one of the best tracks on the calendar, and it is nice to know that it probably is going to be in next year's calendar now. We'll get to drive it in next year's game as well. But you can see qualifying, it's going to be dry, although there is a 29% chance of rain at the end, so we'll have to see. And then the race is going to be wet at some point, around halfway to three-quarters of the way through, so that is going to be interesting. You can see we are still just about best of the rest. We did have a couple of upgrades come in, like ERS, which is definitely going to help us on the straights. But we'll see what we can do in qualifying. But after 2 minutes 10... at least in the game, because you see we load straight into qualifying and we've got an electrical fault. So clearly our new ERS upgrades weren't necessarily applied to the car properly, and we had to wait for our engineers to fix it. But we begin our first flying lap here. We've got a car pretty close behind us. Looks like Lance Stroll of the Aston Martin, I think. So hopefully he doesn't go for any stupid dive bombs on us while we're doing our qualifying lap. The AI do tend to do that quite a lot. As we go around the final couple of corners here, always manage to mess this up, but seems like it was okay this time. And we cross the line with a 144.5, which puts us in 5th place behind the two Alpines at the moment. Obviously, ideally, we want to be qualifying ahead of the Alpines, so that is definitely not a good enough time. And we do a second lap in a row because we know the rain is coming. And we're currently about 2 temps up, but you can see on our screen the rain is already starting to come down. Hopefully we can still hold on to this little bit of advantage we've got. 2 temps, cross the line, 2 temps up, 144.3, but that's actually only enough to split the two Alpines there, with Alonso in P12 and Ocon in P14. So that puts us P13. As you saw, it was starting to rain, and it's supposed to rain until the end of this session. It's only short qualifying this time, so there's no Q1, 2, 3. This is it. Jensen, he's got himself into 8th there, a 143.9, so about 4 temps quicker than us. And yeah, like I thought, nobody else went out for another run, so that is us starting P13 for the race.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of them to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Russell, Lando Norris and Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso and Paul, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Pierre Gasly and Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Button, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Alex Albon. Ocon, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Joe, Bottas and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Well, because of a variety of penalties for the other drivers, including our teammate, annoyingly, we actually start P10. So we are already in the points at the beginning of the race. So we'll have to see what we can do. Now, it does say medium to hard, but I actually decided I was going to go for a starting on the hard and then just try and hold out to the inters, because I think we probably can just about do that. But it is lights out and away we go. You see, we get across the line in a massive amount of smoke there. We had quite a bit of wheel spin, but we jump on board ourselves. We've dropped down to 12th, actually. We've had a terrible start on these hard tyres. Trying to get back past Fernando Alonso there, but unable to do so. We've got Max Verstappen behind us, who almost crashes himself into the wall. Not sure what he was doing there. You've got the AlphaTauri and the Alpine going side by side, and we've actually ended up straight behind the AlphaTauri. Can we just have a massive lunge down the inside of him? We'll have to see. We're very, very close. We do go for it. And he backs out in the end. So that is us up into P10. It looks like Max Verstappen managed to get through as well. But he bins it. He has binned it trying to get past us. I don't know what's happened. Here's a replay. He just understeers, I guess, and just goes into the gravel. So that is Max Verstappen all the way at the back from lap 1. That is no good for the Red Bull driver there. But we have managed to stay P10 by the end of lap 2. So not amazing, but not terrible. We're still in the points for the time being. You've got Ricciardo and Tsunoda going side by side here. Can we make it 3 wide? Are we that brave? Do we send it down the inside? No, we have to brake a little bit early as well. Almost colliding into Tsunoda there. But we do capitalise on this in the end. We do decide to make it 3 wide. Are we going to be able to get past them? They actually do crash into each other a little bit there. And we touch with Ricciardo. But I don't think we got any damage. And that is us up into P9 past the McLaren. Next up is obviously Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. You can see we've just got so much more, I don't know, downforce, I guess, than them. We're just so much faster in the corners. They're definitely a little bit faster in the straight, which is a bit weird because I am running a pretty low downforce setup. I think I've got 8 on the front wing or something. But we do have DRS now, so that is going to help us try and close down the gap on the AlphaTauri. But we do need to bear in mind we do have a McLaren of Ricciardo behind us, who typically isn't the quickest. But again, that car just seems to be pretty quick in a straight line. The DRS didn't really help us get any closer to Tsunoda. As you can see, the places we gain the time is through the corners. Don't understand it because, like I say, we've got a low downforce setup, plus we're on the hard tyres, so he should have less grip. But lap 3, we are close enough to go for a very opportunistic move here. But Tsunoda just about backs out of it. Although he does stick to the outside. Are we going to be able to keep the position? He locks up, and that is us through. We'll see a replay of that in a second, I think. Yeah, so here's the replay. You see we cover the inside line, and he thinks he's just going to brake that a little bit later than us on the outside. But he just locks up and almost collects Ricciardo there. But that is us up into P8. Not too bad. We've got Norris ahead, 5 seconds. It's going to be a bit of a challenge to try and close up on him. As well as Schumacher in the Haas, who, well, you've got both the Haas's up there actually. The Alpines, I think, are both behind us. So even though we qualified in between the 2 Alpines, they are currently both out of the points. But there is a yellow flag. Not sure what that's for. You've got Ricciardo very, very close behind us. Yellow flag going into turn 1 by the looks of it. Maybe Sergio Perez, I think. And Ricciardo overtakes us under yellow flags. That's just... he shouldn't be allowed to do that. Clearly, Cody's have not quite coded the AI correctly there, but it doesn't matter too much because we are more than close enough here. We use the DRS and the overtake button, and yeah, we pretty much just fly by him. And that is us back into P7. But we have lost time to the guys ahead, Lando Norris and the 2 Haas's, during all of that. So... yeah, we're just going to have to hope that our hard-to-enter strategy works, because it basically relies on it not raining before the medium runners come in, but then raining enough after they come in for us to be able to go on the hards. But we have a massive oversteer moment going onto the pit straight. That allows Ricciardo to try and overtake us. We brake that little bit earlier than him, actually, hoping that he would lock up, but he didn't, which is quite annoying. But we let him go. We actually let him go past. There is a reason for this, though, because we now get to use all the overtake, and when we get up this hill, we're going to have the DRS, and we'll just pull off exactly the same move that we did earlier to get past him. We actually end up having to go on the grass to be able to do it. But, yeah, there we go. We are through before the braking zone. So we are fine. But again, we are losing time to the guys ahead. Although Sainz is appearing out of nowhere in 6th place, 4.7 seconds. I'm not sure what's happened to him. Has he got an issue with his car, maybe? I don't know why he's dropping all the way back there. He was in P2 or 3 at the beginning of this race, I think. And you can see on lap 10, he's definitely got some sort of issue. I don't know whether it's engine or he's got like a broken wing or something. But he's all over the place on the road. And we have already closed up to within a second of him. So I don't think it's going to be very long until we should hopefully be able to get past him. And on to the start of lap 11 here. We've got a few people have gone for some early pit stops, which is good for us. But also, I mean, you can see just how much time we're gaining on signs going through the corners there. It's insane. We get the overtake, we get the DRS. The Ferrari is quick in a straight line, but with his issue, we are just about able to outdrag him. And that is us up into, currently, P5. Bear in mind, obviously, some of the guys ahead have gone into the pits. So if we do have to do a 2-stop, then it's not quite going to work. But he said that the rain is a few laps out. So that does mean that it is coming soon. So hopefully the other guys come in, and you see on the start of lap 12, everyone else is in. And it says that our pit window is open, but we definitely aren't coming in yet. We're going to try and use these hards for as long as we can until the rain comes out. You can see everyone else is in, including George Russell behind us. Leclerc, I'm guessing he came in, but he's just so fast in that Ferrari that by lap 11 he already had an entire pit stop on us. So we won't be fighting for the win, unfortunately. But lap 13, you can see the first drops of rain are starting to appear on our screen. It is starting to rain on lap 13. This is absolutely perfect for us because in a lap or two's time, especially with how heavy this rain is coming down, we should hopefully be able to come in for the Inters and do a 1-stop, while everyone else is going to have to come in again only 2 or 3 laps after they've put on the hards. So I think we have done an absolute mastermind in the strategy, unlike Ferrari in most weekends. But anyway, it did say we had an engine issue, but then it said it's been fixed, so not sure what happened there. Also, the eagle-eyed viewers out there would have spotted at the start the race replay actually had the new Ferrari livery, even though the race gameplay itself doesn't. This is because I actually recorded this race gameplay probably about 2 months ago. That's how much buffer I've got on the old videos, but the race replay I always record like a couple of days before uploading, so that is why the replay has the special Ferrari livery with the yellow on it. But lap 14, we pretty much let Russell by. There was no point spending time fighting him. We'd only end up losing time on the guys behind. But lap 14, the end of lap 14, the call comes in. Mark has said that it is finally wet enough for us to come into Inters. So that is exactly what we do. We get the purple stop time there. But there is an issue with the front right tyre. So our overall stop time, even though we got the purple, was 5.1 seconds. Hopefully that doesn't cause us too much of an issue. A lot of people haven't actually come in yet. I mean, you've got Alonso, our teammate, Gasly, Verstappen, everyone around us still on the hards. You can see on the map in the bottom left that, you know, a few people have come in, but I don't know why they're staying out. That is a weird choice. But you can see it's definitely the wrong choice because midway through lap 15, we've already caught up with Alonso, who is about 2 seconds ahead of us. And you can see he's all over the place on those slick tyres. We're literally having to lift to avoid crashing into him here. And we get past him. Everyone else piles into the pits. So as we come past his pit straight here, we're using overtake so we can make sure we stay ahead of as many people as we can. Where are we going to end up? Where has our 1-stop allowed us to be? Hopefully 3rd place. That is what we're aiming for, and it has. Russell and Leclerc, obviously, way ahead of us. We let Russell past us before we even pit anyway. But we have emerged on lap 16 in a podium position. Magnussen in P4, Norris P5. Magnussen's 3.5 seconds behind us, so, I mean, we've only got a couple of laps now. He's 2 seconds behind us now, but we've only got a couple of laps to stay ahead of him, which I think we should be able to do. I don't know where all the other front runners ended up. I mean, I think Hamilton had a penalty. Obviously, Sainz had his issue. Perez out the race. Max Verstappen binned it lap 1. So, yeah, that's pretty much the only reason we are even contending for a podium here. But we start lap 22. Magnussen just under 2 seconds behind us. Obviously, there's no DRS anyway, even if he was less than a second behind us. I think we should be all good to be able to bring this home as we round the final corner. And coming up to the line, we cross the line, and that is P3. That is another podium.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off.
So there we have it. That was the Belgian Grand Prix. We bring home another podium for the team. I think this is, what, the third podium? I wasn't expecting to be anywhere near the podium positions this early on. I mean, I know I chose midfield contender and we are technically best of the rest, but there is still another 3 constructors ahead of us in the performance charts. But I suppose when most of their drivers either have penalties or engine issues or crashes, we end up in the podium spots. But that puts us P6, actually ahead of Max Verstappen for the time being, with 103 points to Max's 98. Jensen manages to get himself ahead of the Alpine of Ocon. And in terms of constructors, we just carry on moving forward and increasing our gap to Alpine behind us with 152 points in total now. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fantastic stuff. Hit the bell notification icon as well so you don't miss our next Grand Prix in Zandvoort.